Come on, Krampus. Come on, crazy. What are you doing? Hmm? What are you doing, Cramps? Let's see if we can adjust this thing. I don't know. Alright. Ratsis says, first or last, unsure. Well, you're the first one to comment. That's for sure. Krampus? Come on. Doesn't feel like coming over. Go eat your dang food. Come on. He's here. I've got my Grinch pajamas, pajama bottoms, plus Krampus. So I'm very, I don't know, festive holiday spirit. So what time is it for where you guys are? It's already 2021 here. I just took out the trash and that's why I'm a bit late. I had these fingerless gloves. Let me put them on. So I had these guys here and they are great except for when it's cold. You know, they're helpful and stuff, but I guess it was just too cold for me to be out there and trying to take apart boxes and stuff, so I had to run my fingers under some tepid water. Hopefully you know that when you are getting any kind of frostbite, frost nip, any of that stuff, you want to go ahead, like the low level stuff, not, you know, cracked skin turning black or anything. For the low level stuff, you want to run your affected body part under water that is warm compared to how your fingers feel, which might not be warm normally. So normally for me, I always turn the water to the hottest. That's just how I do the dishes or something, for example. But in this case, I turned it sort of in the middle cold, and that was definitely plenty warm, so be careful about that. You don't want to burn yourself. All right. The first shall be last. You know what, Mugger? That's exactly what I was thinking. When Rats has said that, I was just like, this just reminds me. My parents used to do that. They used to say, the first shall be last and the last shall be first, to avoid myself and my siblings arguing over who's going to be the first one to get into the car or whatever. So they would just say that. And yeah. 2021 here. It is 12:42, 2:42. Hello, test. 6 hours left here. Hello. Year of the Cow. Is it Year of the Cow? Let's do that. Let's have fun. I wanted to just do something lighthearted. I know that 2020 has been a really difficult year for a lot of us. You know, and I don't even want to talk about some of the stuff that happened. Because I think it would just get too depressing, and I think we've had a lot of that. So let's just do something totally mindless, totally fun. So let's go ahead and do your zodiac signs. Just a totally useless kind of thing. Let's find out what does this year have in store for us. You know what? We can even do a tarot card reading for just for fun. You know, why don't we do that? We'll see how much of this comes true. So we'll do that. If I keep moving my hair, it's because I had it in these like side things and I took them out and it keeps getting in my face. All right. So where is my cute kittens? You can see our cute kittens hanging out here. This is what I had decided to start us off with. Let me set this up in a little bit easier. I have this Chrome window that you guys can see, and then I have a Chrome window that you are in with your comments that I can see. So I'm just going to adjust this so I can see you guys commenting at the same time. All right, so Year of the Cow. Let's check it out. Okay. So this is the Chinese zodiac. So the zodiac that we use, that people tend to call the Western zodiac, is actually the Babylonian zodiac. And we'll talk about the new zodiac, so that way you guys can understand precession. And then we'll just kind of have fun, okay? How about that? How about fun? Okay, how does that sound? As just a nice distraction, all right? So cow is an animal with a gentle nature, closely associated with the with Buddhism. Cool. I mean, it's closely associated with Hinduism too. But you know, both are Indian religions. All right, let's see if we can find any help here. All right, so the meaning, no, we don't care about this. Let's just go ahead and do I want like a Chinese zodiac like website. Okay. Having fun, I'm out by. I know exactly. We don't need to be so much of a downer, you know? We've got some, let's just have fun, okay? Born in the year of the pig, I think. That's okay. We'll go through some of these. Let's see. All right, so let's choose our date of birth. Well, how about our date of birth is January 1, 2021. Let's do this. Someone how old this goes. 1920, okay. 2020, oh no, that's not what we want. All right, well, we'll just go down here. Certain characteristics, all right, year of the ox, good, we can click on it, that's what we want. All right, having fun, look at that, very sweet looking, very cute, okay. This is a metal ox year, okay, so the I don't like calling it the Western Zodiac. The Babylonian Zodiac, they have different signs that they associate with air, fire, earth, and water, but the different years are associated with metal, wood, gold, fire. There might be another one. All right, so an ox year occurs every 12 years. Well, I should hope so. So here are these wood, ox. Okay, I guess gold is not there. Maybe gold is metal. Fire ox. Cool. Great. Wonderful. All right. Personality. So if you are this, you're supposed to be diligent and dependable. So how many of these apply to you? Okay. Whether you're an ox or not, how many of these apply to you? Let's see. Traditional conservative characteristics of diligence, dependability, strength, and determination. Women oxes are traditional, faithful wives who attach great importance to their children's educations. Male oxes are strongly patriotic, have ideals and ambitions for life, and attach themselves to family and work. Let us find out what is Donald Trump. Birthday. What do we got? Born 1946. Okay, cool. So let's find out where we're at. 1946. He's a dog. Let's find out if this is similar to him. Okay. Because remember, these are telling you about your personality, not about what the year is going to have in store for you necessarily. But you could read it a lot of different ways, and that's what makes it interesting, but it also what makes it as interesting as it is useless for determining personality and stuff. Dogs are loyal, honest, but not good at communication. Well, 1 out of 3. Amiable and kind, no. Cautious and prudent, no. Strong sense of loyalty and sincerity, no. Dogs are not good at communication, yes. Difficult to convey their thoughts, sure. Leave the impression they have a stubborn personality. Well, yeah, we've all been given that impression. Can we get anything from our good friend Kim Jong-un? The supreme leader, but not the eternal president. Let's remember that. When was he born? Place of birth. Yeah, cool. What about his date? Okay, 1982 or 83 or 84. Well, let's just take our pick then, because apparently that's what we're doing. 1982. He's a water dog, brave and self-centered, seemingly selfish, well-versed in dealing with financial issues. Okay, cool. Thank you. He could be 1983, which should be the pig. Okay, the pig is supposed to be very, sweet and everything. Let's see. Pig, 83. Okay, water pigs. We're still water. Diligent, compassionate, realistic. Okay, so that's not going to be him. And 1984. Should be up here, I think. Yes. Okay. What is he supposed to be? Quick-witted, resourceful, smart, but lack courage. Rich imaginations and sharp observations, they could take advantage of various opportunities. Okay, so therefore we have decided Kim Jong-un is not born in 1983, but maybe born in 1982 or 1984. See, isn't this fun? Trump's password used to be MAGA 2020. Someone actually hacked his account using this password. Yes, I remember that, and that was a great. Just how. I mean, even if you try to do it as leet, you know, like leet speak, where it would be like M4G4 2020, that would be better, or even M4G4 to capital O to lowercase o, that would be better. That's still something easy to remember. You know what I mean? But that would be better. I'm sorry. I keep sniffing. I have, I'm not sick. It's just when I get cold, my nose starts running. I wondered why that happened, and so I finally had looked it up, and I guess it's because the body tries to heat up cold air, so it sends like more of a blood flow to your nose to heat it up. But in cases like mine, or I don't know if I overheat my nose or if just my nose is kind of big, it just starts making it too warm, and then so I do apologize if that is off-putting. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh gosh. Wow, Ratsa. That's great. Yes, snot science. Isn't that fun? Isn't that a good time? Oh, you're right. It would be a 420 password. Either way. Well, that's exciting. All right. So I did tell you that we're going to talk about precession and the Babylonian zodiac. So who is not familiar with precession? Not procession, but precession. Who is not familiar with that? Maybe you don't know the word. It's about the Earth's or the solar system's rotation. Are you guys familiar with that? It's like 26,000 year cycle. Who is not familiar with this? Not familiar. All right. So there's this wobble that basically happens. Earth precession. Cool. Great. And I just want to show you how this kind of wobbles, okay? So it's more of the axis precession. Now we do have a movement in the solar system, but this is going to really affect the way that we see stars. Well, so is our movement in the solar system. But this one is the one that is 26,000 years about, okay? And so we can see the Earth's axis here. This would be CE 15,000. So that would be, 13,000 years from now. This is where the North Pole is supposed to be pointing, okay, to Vega. Right now we're pointing to Polaris, okay? So this kind of wobble, the wobble. Okay, so the wobble is precession. I am very sorry. I gotta just wipe my nose. Oh my goodness. I don't want to blow it because that would just, I know some people are very bothered by that sound. Alrighty. That's why it's easier to wear masks. So because of this, we can see that we're looking at different stars. Do you guys know how we associate a constellation with a birth month, or why it's called the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn? Are you guys aware of how we decided that? Anybody? It's not everyone has. I know, but there are some people that are very put off by that sound when somebody is wiping or blowing their nose. So I don't want to put anybody off while they're watching this, especially if they're eating or drinking something. I mean, even for me, if somebody's got that really like chunky sound when they're blowing their nose in a restaurant, no, go to the bathroom and do that. Ancient people hallucinated. That's how we get the constellations being named. But how did we associate them with this one's associated with this part of the year, this one's associated with this part of the year? You know, why, if you're born, for example, we're going to use the old one. But if we look at, let's see, zodiac list, I don't know, we'll just call it that. Great, that helps. You know, how come if you're born in March and April at this time period, why are you an Aries? You know, what makes you an Aries? Isn't that constellation existing all year round? Why are you that? Do you guys know why? It could be a very satisfying sound. Oh, pow, pow. I think It depends, I think, on the situation. Definitely depends on whether you are the nose blower or if you're the one hearing it. Because I know that very cloggy kind of sound, that's really good to get out of. I think if you're doing it for a child too, like if you have the tissue for the child and you see this child's nose like constantly dripping, I think once you hear that that like big chunk come out, you're like, oh, good. Now I don't have to see this kid running around. But I think it kind of falls into the same realm as those pimple popping videos, which I really like to watch. Gross. But they're just one of those where you're watching it, it's just you just love how gross it is. Let the nose goblins fly. Could probably earn dollars blowing your nose somewhere on the net. Yeah, I don't want to go to those places on the net. Let's see. I'm at latitude 62.5. So summer solstice, we get 19 hours and 20 minutes of daylight. That's pretty awesome. That's definitely awesome. So if you just kind of want to see this, because I like using this for representation. Let's see. Why is it named Tropic of Capricorn? Okay. Cool. This is telling us. Cool. This is why. All right. So it has to do with the solstice time periods and when this point crosses over. Okay. To my understanding, this was I think part of it had to do with sailing. I'm sure a lot of stuff has to do with sailing. Okay. And so for these other time periods, it's where it's pointing at that time. So that's why we end up with like if you're born in March, you have an Aries, okay? But we also have the wobble, right? The precession. And so now we actually have a different one. There's actually 13 now instead of 12. And so you end up with this new zodiac. Okay. So where the sun is directly overhead at summer solstice. Yes. Yeah, sorry, you can't scroll this down. Yes. Need to look at a globe if my grandfather lived in the northern or southern than that. Yeah, which test what you're talking about, or what test is talking about, because I know what test knows what test is talking about, but what test is talking about is something called the midnight sun. So part of that has to do with the summer solstice. Dang it, why? What even is this? Okay. Let's go to Alaska, because that's where test is. So this is basically where the sun won't set. It will set in some places, depending on which latitude you're at. But the closer you get to the poles, this is when this happens. It also happens in the summer in Antarctica. It's just that the summer is during these months, as opposed to, August and stuff as it is in the northern hemisphere. Thank you. Yes, so the coordinates that we can see here, can we take a gander at Funäsdalen, Sweden? Okay, so it looks like you have found it anyway. Yeah, it's very close to what yours is as well. Latitude buddies with my grandfather. Well, that's great. For those of you that want to just kind of know what it's like, I did go to Sweden. We did have the Midnight Sun issue, but it kind of was a little bit below the horizon, so it didn't look exactly like this. But basically, if you get up to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m., it's kind of like 6 p.m. light. It's kind of dark. That's it. You don't really need to turn on the lights. It's just kind of dark. I wouldn't cook in that light. I wouldn't, but I would be comfortable watching TV, or I would be comfortable, navigating in a home that, I'm not from Sweden, so I did an Airbnb kind of thing. So obviously I'm not very familiar with this room or this home. But I was able to just navigate very easily to the bathroom because of this midnight sun. So it's actually pretty cool. Happy New Year. I'm so happy to see you back. I missed your intellect. Well, we're not having a lot of intelligent discussion today. We're just well, I don't know. I guess we're still learning. Okay. But yes, thank you for hanging out and being back here. We're just having fun today, and that's all we're doing. I hope that you're doing well. If not, hopefully this will, maybe lift up your spirits. So taking a nap can be disorienting because you wake up and you don't know if it's day or night. That's definitely true. So anyway, we have the new Zodiac. Okay. This is it. So you guys can check it out. Tell me if this has changed your Zodiac sign. So tell me if this has changed it for you. And you'll also notice there's actually a 13th one, okay, called Ophiuchus. Okay, and I'll show you that. I really disagree with what it represents, so I named it something else, and because it's just very arbitrary, some friends and we decided to attribute things to the Zodiac personality, I guess you can say, of Ophiuchus. Okay, so it's changed. Yeah, so this has changed. Gosh, I don't know how long ago, but it definitely all of us here, we would be born under this situation. So that's for any of you that have read your horoscopes. A lot of you here have read your horoscopes, and you have, you're skeptics. You might read it and say, oh, that's interesting, that tends to match with me, or oh, that's really interesting because that matches a lot with me. You'll actually look at this now and be able to say, oh, well, that's, definitely the whole Barnum statement situation where you can make a statement that kind of applies to everybody. Apparently a ram instead of a bull now. Yeah. So these are kind of fun. So this Ophiuchus? That's what I'm gonna call it, like Confucius, Ophiuchus. Let's find out. Let's see. Ophiuchus pronunciation. Let's do that. I'm Cancer makes sense, yes. I always have to remind my students in geography, when we're talking about the Tropic of Cancer, it has to do with the crab, not cancer, because you can get cancer anywhere. So let's see if we can hear this. Yeah, I didn't major in Greek or anything exciting. Oh, I gotta turn this on. Please forgive me. I think we had to do this last time, didn't we?
Ophiuchus.
Oh, Ophiuchus. Okay, well, fine. Ophiuchus. All right. So we're going to look at Ophiuchus, the constellation. Who's this? Is this Chunk or is this Krampus? Krampus? Oh, it's Krampus. He talks back. Okay. So this is Ophiuchus. Okay. What does this look like to you? Let's just look at it before we look at anything else. Okay. Let's see if this will open. Hoax horoscope dates. Oh, okay. I don't know why they're calling it hoax. Oh, let me turn this off because I don't want to. Star signs offer advice and guidance to millions of people suffering from economic and social uncertainty. No. Oh, that's terrible. There's still 12 star signs. Your star sign hasn't actually changed. Oh, yes, it has. Okay. All right. So, what do you guys see? Let's look at this. It looks like nothing to me. Hello, Alan. Are you saying ugh that we're doing the Zodiac? Or are you saying ugh at the thing I just read? Because, I mean, obviously, the Irish Sun, of course. It's such a reputable publication. So, NASA resurfaced blog post saying that there's 13 signs, not 12. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Okay. I mean, it's technically not an inaccurate statement. Yeah. Looks like a house with an antenna coming out. Okay, I can see that. Let's try to think ancient Babylon. Let's try to think that. It is gross how people are exploited. Absolutely. Absolutely disgusting. But we're trying to talk about happy things right now. We can talk about how people are exploited with this kind of stuff. I have some stories of my own from family members, but we want to try to keep a happy talk today. So very lighthearted. What might this look like? A cave? Maybe if we turn it to the side, a weird fish? Right? Make 2021 happier. Upside down shield? Okay, I'm gonna even say it's a you can have a right side up shield as well. Because this is easier to set down onto the dirt, you know what I mean? Baby chickens are pretty, you know what they are? I really like chickens. I really like them. Let me show you this really great chicken. Just give me a second. What's it called? Polish silver silky? This is just the Polish silky? Is this him? No, this is not him. Where's my... It's like silver tip chicken, something like that. Oh, I wish I knew. Yay! The silver laced Polish. That's it. Look at these birds. He's the best chicken. He's a chicken. I love him so much. Isn't this amazing? This is like the line art before you finish coloring, you know. This is this is an excellent chicken. Look at him. He's just great. I love it. Okay. I was thinking Shield 2. Is this still live? It's still live. Yeah, why not? Oh, because you just joined us, Meadow. Yes, this is still live. I think my mom is one of those silkies. It's a Babylonian clay tablet. It is a very stylish bird, isn't he? He's so good. If you're interested in chickens, you can look up silky chickens. Because they are amazing. I love them. They're so good. Look at them. They're very poof, poof, and you want to touch them. And their feet are very poof poof. And it's very good time. And they're great. Look at this. They got fabulous hair. There's this one that's like a cross, I guess, between a silky and then that other silver lace chicken. And now we got like what the autumn version. This is like the silver version of the Pokemon, or those Pokemon that are like seasonal, right? He looks like a fly. I know, they're very pleasing to the eye. I love it. The chicken is an edgelord. His edge got his edges done at least. It's one cool chicken. Happy New Year to you, Menno. Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah, the feathers really are line art. It's just great. All right. Wow, look at this. It's very like. That's great. Good job. Wow. See, this is great. Okay, and then we're gonna look at. Remind me to look at. I'm gonna post it here. We're gonna look at a goat. A couple goats. Okay. We're gonna look at a couple goats later on, but I don't want to get too off this. Okay. So if we're gonna look at this as a like a creature, because a lot of these are creatures, right? I think it looks like that really fat Mexican flag chihuahua. Okay. Where's he at? I mean, it's the GIF is great. Fat Mexican flag chihuahua meme. He's got to look. Sometimes these are just hard to find again. You know what I'm talking about? That's okay. We can watch this. Oh, here we go. This is the GIF. Maybe you guys have seen it. It's great. So he tries to go up the stairs, and then boop. That's great. I like to look at this when I'm feeling down, okay? Because it's very funny, I think. And also, if you watch it on YouTube, there's like this mariachi trumpet in the background. It's pretty great. Fat Mexican flag dog. Let's just look at that. I don't know where he is. Anyway, there's an image of one of these dogs that's lying down, and he's got like a flag or something on him, and it's in that shape. So we end up with this, like, this part is the dog's body, and then this is one of the dog's legs, and this is another of the dog's legs. And I think that's Ophiuchus. Is that what it was? Okay, so that's what I think. I think it looks like that. So if we're going with that as like the representative of this zodiac sign, what are some traits that you would associate? Let's do the positive traits that you would associate with being a big, fat Chihuahua. What are some positive traits? Let's see what you guys wrote. It was a poodle retriever mix, so adorable. Poodles, that traditional haircut is actually because they're hunting dogs, and they needed their joints to be warm. However, the type of hair they have is very thick, and of course, if you're hunting in like a swamp, for example, not the best because you get very weighed down by this water weight. But if you shave the dog off, the joints will get too cold. So that silly looks like it's just there for style. Hairstyle that those dogs have is actually functional for hunting, which is kind of fun. If I ever got a bird, it would be a parrot. Yes, that reminds me of that Archer but the series, or not series, season, where Dr. Krieger was a parrot. It's a good time. Okay, hyper. Looks like a beer stein to me. Heavy drinking dog. Okay, so those are some of the. Well, I don't know. Is positive is going to be heavy drinking. We could say good stamina. That might be positive. Let's see. You look at a couple goats as your one and only reminder. You got a scarlet, green-winged, blue throat, blue gold, military, and hyacinth macaws. Nice. One of the German ones with yeah, I know what you're talking about for sure. And actually, it does kind of look like that. Which is very smart to have that lid, isn't it? I know I get cat hair in my mugs. What about some negative stuff that we're thinking for like this dog? Yeah, see, like this kind of thing. This is definitely the dog. Okay, they got the 2 legs and the other leg, so it's definitely great. So what is anything negative personality traits you would associate with a big fat Chihuahua? Anything? And while we do that, we're going to check out what Ophiuchus actually was. Okay. It's an elderly man holding a snake in 2 hands. Right? Is that what you see? Let's look at it again. An elderly man holding a snake in 2 hands. Okay. No. This one kind of looks like it, right? But that ain't it, right? That's not what we're looking at. A proper labradoodle? I would say so. Alright, so what is your unlucky stars? No. Okay. Passionate, blindly good-hearted, wasteful, and easily seduced nature, as well as unseen dangers, enmity, and slander. I guess that goes with a big fat Chihuahua, right? Blindly good-hearted, wasteful, easily seduced, like by food, right? That would work. Let's see. Not for Chihuahuas, but I think purebred dogs should be illegal. It's artificial selection, which gives them health issues. Yeah, it's definitely true. Big fat dog, negative traits, naturally predisposed to too much internet. Yes, exactly. All right. So, very fun. Let's see. Imagine archetypes: adventurer and sorcerer. That's fun. Empathetic healer, androgyny. Wow, an old man holding 2 snakes. I don't understand how that's androgyny. Energetic, adventurous, powerful, accomplished, generous, passionate, independent. We can say that about the fat Chihuahua. Imagine characteristics: secretive. Yeah, that's true. Like secret eating, right? Vindictive. I don't know. Selfish. Yeah, eats too much of the food. Rebellious. Maybe. Wild and aggressive. Depends. And blunt. I mean, every Chihuahua is blunt, I If you deal with Chihuahuas, they're very blunt. All right. Looks like one of those water tins that you use to water plants. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look like an old man holding two snakes. You know, I don't even know how they got that. You know, of course, a lot of these are named after like these legends or animals or something, but I feel like the person who named this, I mean, you gotta know, they're like, yeah, we need one for our fishes too. Well, what about this thing? I guess. You know, it's just like as if somebody had to turn in, you know, this report on the zodiac or a report on the constellations or something, and they just like, oh no, it's 11:58 and it's due at midnight. There's that one. Boo, that's it. Let's turn it in and just hope we get a C. That's kind of how I see this one. So definitely different. So I told you guys, okay, we're gonna look at two goats, and then we're gonna look at, well, I guess a goat and a sheep, and then we're gonna look at a tarot card thing for 2021, just for fun. The two snakes are on the either side of it. Yeah, but that would mean I still don't see how this is a man. It's like a stela. It's an obelisk, but I don't think it's a man. But yeah, it does mention that there's the serpents is like a different, what am I thinking? A different constellation, yeah. Tarot cards, such incredible BS, but it's hard not to fall for it. Yes, tarot cards are incredible BS. You can use them in a way that is very maybe helpful for you if you have trouble focusing on something. So let's say that you had a bunch of things to do today, but you didn't know where to start, and that was slowing you down. You could pull a tarot card and be like, oh, okay, this says I should start with this thing. You know, you can use it to your favor. It's a top view. He happens to have an oddly shaped head. Okay, that kind of makes a little bit more sense. Some chihuahuas aren't blunt at all. Some are very sharp and make you bleed. I meant blunt like they will just tell you to back off. You know, a lot of other dogs might tolerate some, especially like little kids, you know, grabbing them and pulling their ears and stuff. A lot of dogs will just tolerate that, but I think chihuahuas are like, not today, you know. So they tend to be blunt in that way. I do not know of a 3D printing company, but you might want to, you can ask, definitely here's definitely okay. And then also maybe the Discord and maybe on Twitter. That would also be a good place to check. All right, so how do we do these? How to do tarot spread for the upcoming year. Okay, so we're going to do that. Oh, and I'm going to show you the goats. We're going to look at the Damascus goat. Okay. These are fun. So, this is the Damascus goat as a baby, and this is when it's an adult. These goats are part of a goat beauty show, actually. So, there's a goat beauty competition, and these Damascus goats are in this beauty competition. Aren't they great? Isn't this just like... This reminds me of that thing on Pan's Labyrinth. You know? That's what it looks like to me. It's pretty great. So they're interesting looking for sure. These are some of the beauty contests. You know, it's got that fancy underbite and everything else. That's such an interesting looking goat. This one, of course, is very lovely, I would say. But a lot of these, the Damascus goat was real. Yeah, it's real. Who questioned it? These are great. It's just something to look at when you're feeling sad. Just say, yep, that goat. Look at him. He's so proud. Like, yep, this is the winner. Isn't this great? All these people are looking at me because I'm awesome, right? Look at this thing. I wonder if you could like rest something on there, like a shelf. Oh, good. That reminds me of that crime robot on Futurama, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The crime, what's his name? Roberto? Is that his name? Yeah, right? Tell me I'm wrong. It has a very similar look to him. I just googled funny looking lemon. Okay. How did that turn out? Goats are better climbers than you would guess by looking at them. They absolutely are, especially the ones that are raised like the rock or the mountain goats, right? And they got those. It's their. Can we see their foot? It's pretty cool. Let's see, mountain goat hoof. Okay, that's not helping us. There we go. These are a lot softer and they can kind of grip. So it's pretty cool. I don't know why this picture's great. Look at that. It just looks so strange, doesn't it? It looks almost like a chicken foot or something. It's pretty strange stuff. But yeah, it's the bottom part of the hoof is really soft. So it's soft compared to, the top part. So it's able to grip stuff really well. So you can end up with things like this where they're climbing up. This is the side of a dam. So it's pretty cool. Oh, maybe we can just see these. Nope. That's not what we're looking for. It's too small to read. I was hoping we could get a better look. But now I just want to touch it. I just want to press it. I don't think I've ever seen a Damascus goat IRL. They certainly look interesting. Yeah, they are in West Asia. So I don't think they're exported or anything. May you experience sufficient levity and fortuitous circumstances during the next orbital revolution of your species' home planet. Spock, yes. My landlord's chihuahua is a little blind punk that keeps trying to attack the blind pug against her will with special relations, so I'll move the pug out of her enclosed space and he starts crying. That's a very, very interesting. Half goat, half potato. Goats use anti-gravity. I feel like, yeah, they're casting this spell. So the other goat, or I guess the sheep I want you to look at is the Jacob sheep. Because they're really cool. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? Don't you wish you looked like that? It's just like, yeah, me and the boys just hanging out, being cool. And look at this thing. This one's got an extra curl in it. It's got 3 horns. Well, there's probably a horn over here, but it's really small. Wait, where did the other guy just go? Come back, other guy. Yeah. I mean, isn't this cool looking? That's very cool. Super, super cool, I would say. Cool. Is that 4 horns? Yes. They have 4 horns. And I do want to ask you guys, please refrain from using profanity. It's supposed to be friendly for other people. But look at this. And they don't grow all the same way, okay? So they grow kind of funky. They got this going on. I mean, it's super cool, isn't it? It's so cool looking. So I really like these. This one, I mean, you would probably want to cut those, wouldn't you? I'd be afraid that if I was the owner of the sheep, that they would grow into the sheep. This one, swirling, looking cool. Okay. These, less cool, because they don't have those horns. Look at this! And then they got the long, oblong pupil, It's a good time. There's Blackfield, exactly. Wouldst thou, like to live deliciously or something like that? So that is a good time. I think this one's the best. Those are the best horns. They're twisty. They look really cool. That's what I would like. Yeah. So you can find these in the UK apparently. So, I don't know. I guess if you need any goats for sacrificing, you got these little babies. Okay. So they're pretty great, aren't they? See, he knows he looks cool. He knows. He's proud of himself. That's an impressive set of forms. I know, it's so great looking. I love it. So these are just some things to share with you, again, that I look at when I'm feeling down. Because I think they're just like you can't imagine having, a really bad time and you're like, man, I'm just so stressed out. And then you look at this, right? You just feel like this is so cool. You can't, yeah, it doesn't fix all your problems or anything, but it's pretty cool, right? It's a pretty good time. I guess if you want to look at weird stuff and just be like distracted by something weird, you could look at Chernobyl. Oh, Chernobyl sheep. No, don't. Chernobyl. I'm going to look it up in the other thing first, just to make sure we're not going to get anything too weird. Because I don't want to gross you guys out right now. Maybe later. Yeah, I think that's fine. So as you probably all know, Chernobyl is that fun place where there was the nuclear meltdown. And you end up with cool, like, look at this. Look at this tomato. Singular. Isn't that great? Here's a tree being cool. I want to show you the sunflower. I don't know why it's... Where's my sunflower? Got one sunflower. Okay. Very interesting looking. The other sunflower, though, I think is here. Yeah. Look at this. Super funky. Okay, so if you want to just see, like, genetic mutations but not be too grossed out by, like, seeing some very interesting, sad-looking animals, then you can look at these really cool plants. Look at this single sunflower. That's great. That's just great. I don't like the taste of raw tomato, but it's great as an ingredient. I didn't like it either. I made myself like it. So, I don't know why I did it. I was a teenager, and I just thought, oh, I should probably start eating more vegetables. Even though I didn't really like the taste of them. So I had conditioned myself to eat those, and beets. Baby corn, which I really hated. And some other things that I just wasn't a fan of. But I taught myself to eat them. The easy way to do it is just to put it into food you already like, and then once you can't handle it, take it all out, and then eat the rest of the food, and then eventually you'll get used to it. But yeah, the Chernobyl plants are pretty interesting, I think. And again, if you want to look at some other stuff that's pretty funky, you can. Just be aware that it's, it is pretty sad. So, maybe don't look at it when you're feeling sad. But these plants and stuff, they're pretty cool looking, I think. Pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do the... What do we got? The new tarot spread. Okay, and then after that, I think that I will be done. Because I don't want to get a migraine to start off the new year. Let's see. Do you teach your students about the elephant's foot in Chernobyl? Do you get to teach your students about the elephant's foot in Chernobyl? I decide to, yes. It's difficult to teach stuff because you have to finish, the textbook, right? They need to know a certain amount of stuff by the time they leave your class. And it can be difficult if you go down too many paths. But thankfully, yes, we can talk about the elephant's foot. And then, of course, I say, if you want to know more, extra credit, blue, blue, blue. Okay. You already grossed us out with the snot thing. Thanks. Making his own pentagram with them horns. Exactly. Goth goat. Exactly. What else did you guys write? Let's see. Hello, Nick. Quadceratops, Black Phillip. Let's see, I think we're caught up. Skipton Jacob, sheep, looks like they're on steroids. Yeah, they're pretty interesting. The animals that they breed for, like, their musculature, I'm sure you guys have seen those. Remember there was some interesting stuff with the smaller animals in Chernobyl, never really looked into it. There is some interesting stuff with the Chernobyl insects. kind of interesting. So these are some of the patterns that are weird, which of course they look like a face, which is pretty funky. But remember, if your entire camouflage or mating or something is based on you looking like this, for example, then the rest of these guys are going to have a very hard time, aren't they? Can you imagine finding one of these in the middle of the night that's really big, it's on your wall, and like you turn on the light and it's just this red face? And then it starts moving, you're like, oh, it's a bug. That would be pretty great. I like bugs. I think they're awesome. This is how big they are. I think they're great. They're so cute. I really like little bugs. So, it's fun. I try not to kill them. If I see bugs in my house, I usually just let them out. Yeah. That was a Fukushima. Wow. That would suck. I wonder, though, if there's... how this developed interiorly. You know, is this like one that doesn't work and this is the functioning one? Do they both work? Can they have babies out of both sides? So it's pretty interesting stuff. Oh, I love moths. They're fantastic. Moths and mushrooms and beetles and all of that good stuff. I don't know. I guess I'm just a goblin in disguise. Oh yeah, there's that face that we didn't want to see. These are bugs doing it. So they're making baby bugs. They're not a single bug connected. I love this side eye. I feel like it should be a meme. Alright, let's see what you guys have written. Hi from the UK, long time no see, missed your videos. I'm keeping well, have a wonderful new year. Thank you, John. Had to kind of reboot the channel, so we're doing a more educational setup. But we're just having a fun thing today, just because 2020 has been pretty difficult for everybody, so we just kind of wanted to have fun. Let's see, serious Fallout precursors. You see this stuff and suddenly it seems more realistic. Yes. It's pretty careful, or pretty, why did I say careful? Pretty dangerous is what I wanted to say. Be careful, it's dangerous. Yeah, if you're ever near a nuclear blast in an area where fallout will happen, but not where you just like vaporize, you know, of course, hide, but if you can't, cover yourself with something metal, like a car door. That way you're gonna avoid any of that fallout hitting you. You guys know what fallout even is, by the way? Because I know we say nuclear fallout, it's just kind of a phrase, but you guys know what it is. And then, of course, you want to be very careful because you're going to breathe it in. It's just not a good time. Mantis eggs are so cool. Have you seen them hatch? I don't think I have. Look at Lotus mantis. They're beautiful. Why not? Lotus mantis. And then we'll look at the mantis shrimp. Oh. Look at this thing. Wow. And they're so little. Oh, they're babies. Misspelled, but yes. Wow. That's gorgeous. That's great. Imagine being this bug. You know what I mean? You just... what would this be? Like... I feel like this is like pastel goth in the animal kingdom. This one looks like he's about to tell me something. Like, or sell me something. That's fabulous. And then we'll look at mantis shrimp because they're great too. Mantis shrimp. They can also see, they've got a different set of rods and cones, so they can see a bunch of colors we can't, which is cool. And they're the ones that punch really fast. So they punch their, I guess they, I forget exactly, they punch so fast that even if they don't hit their target, like the shockwave will stun them, like, and then they could just like go up and hit them and eat them. And okay, you know, I'm just trying to think about it like a person. You know, what would this person look like? I imagine like a small but like really muscular dude, like what was his name? Something Greg Valentino? Yeah, this guy. So this guy, you guys might say, oh, it's all steroid. It's synthol. It's different. So this guy, it's a combination of steroids, but also synthol. That's how he gets this very unnatural, gargantuan kind of look. There's muscle there. Obviously, he has to work out. It's not just synthol, but they are synthol injections for sure. But that's just kind of how I would imagine this mantis shrimp. He just walks around, go boom, just punching everything. If you ever heard this guy talk, he sounds very aggressive. Not mean, just like aggressive. You know, he just sort of meets the world, I don't know, aggressively. He's like that uncle that thinks he's really cool. Do you know what I'm talking about? And thinks he's better than your other uncles because he doesn't drink, but he's got a bunch of other vices. He's like that, you know. So that's just how he is. Mantis shrimp are pretty and deadly. They punch so fast you get luminescence. Synthol, ew. Is that the stuff that can leak from the muscles? Not from the muscles. I would say it leaks out. So synthol is it's this type of like a grease essentially that is where you can inject it into your body and artificially make yourself look larger. So we can actually see this. Synthol injections. Yeah. So the problem, of course, with the people that do synthol injections is you end up with this, right? It's just uneven. It doesn't. That's the thing that you can really know about synthol, is that it's just very uneven. Okay. It looks as if it would have been photoshopped poorly. That's how it looks. You also don't get any of the veininess that you get with muscle normally. So something like these pecs here, they should have this, they're called striations. They're those lines that you can see of the muscle through the skin. You should be able to see it. If your muscles are that big, they're just like pressing up against your skin, you should be able to see these striations. And you don't. And so that's one of the reasons they look so unnatural, is they're just so soft. That's why they look that way. Of course, this doesn't make you any stronger. It just makes you look a certain way. You know, if you're not hurting yourself, you know, and you like how it looks, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? I'm not passing judgment on these guys. That's just how they, you know, if this guy goes out of the house and feels good about how he looks and this helps him feel confident, cool, you know. So be it. I don't want to, obviously it's not, you know, you guys know that I lift. So a lot of people that do lift, you know, you might think, well, you know, wouldn't you hate somebody for faking it? Or, you know, don't you hate the fact that they're being lazy? No, you know, that's just what they want to do with their body. You can use it to round out or even out your physique. For bodybuilders, no matter how good you are always a little bit out of balance. So you can definitely use synthol to boost that. So there is an application for that. And of course you can hurt yourself and everything with it, but as far as I can tell, you know, I'm not impressed by it. I don't think it's cool. I'm not going to do it. But if he goes outside and he feels like, yeah, I feel cool, everyone's staring at me and I like it, you know, let him do it. You know, I'm not, doesn't bother me. Let's see. Steroids will do that to you. Not steroids, synthol. So we're being a little different here. Simone Giertz did a mantis shrimp cosplay. Let's do that. Let's check it out. And then we could talk more about, you know, body modification if y'all like. Let's see. Mantis shrimp. That's great. That's great. That's super great. I remember I had we had to do something for like little kids when I was teaching little kids, and it was some, I don't know, sea creature thing that they had to draw, and so I drew this mantis shrimp and I was like, and you guys can do this too, and they just drew fish, but I showed them a little video about the mantis shrimp, and they thought it was really cool, but, they drew fish. It's what made sense to them. But it was just nice introducing that concept, I think. Yeah, their body, their business. I agree. I think they're getting sold a bill of goods. It doesn't actually look good. Well, remember, what looks good is very, very subjective. Nobody is going to go outside and have people thinking, wow, this person looks awesome. You know what I mean? Wow, I want to get to know this person and whatever. It's the same with extreme bodybuilding. You don't do it because you think it looks good. You do it because it looks the way that you're trying to get your body to look. And I think that's the big thing we have to understand. So if we look at, for example, Iris Kyle has won more bodybuilding awards than any other bodybuilder, regardless of gender. Iris Kyle does not do this to look attractive. And that's what people have to understand, is that it's about pushing your body to an extreme. It's about getting your body to look the way that you want it to look for whatever reason that was important to you. It has nothing to do with trying to look attractive. Obviously, if Iris Kyle wanted to look conventionally attractive, she wouldn't do this. You know what I mean? So this has nothing to do with like, oh yeah, I'm going to just do steroids and then pack on a bunch of muscle and then I will totally be attractive to the people that I want to attract. No, that's not at all what this is about. And in the same way, the synthol injections, this is not about like, oh yeah, like he doesn't think in his head by putting these into his arms that people are going to want to be his friend and that he's going to get a bunch of girlfriends or boyfriends or both, I don't know his sexuality. They're doing this to look extreme. That's their goal, is to look extreme. That's why they're doing this. This guy that we talked about with this gargantuan chest, he does it, I would imagine, so that way when he puts on a shirt, it's ridiculously proportioned. Almost like a superhero. That's what he's going for. He's going to put that on and say, yeah, this is how I want to present myself to the world, regardless of what other people think. So that's why I can't judge it. They're not doing it for me. You know what I mean? They're not hurting me. So, truckla is the Google term. Truckla. Okay. She bought a Tesla and cut the back of it. Oh, to turn it into a truck. That's the truckla thing. Bodybuilders or either are impressive when they put in that kind of work, right? And that's pretty much all they want in terms of outside input, is a recognition of how much work they did. Obviously these guys are not doing work, but well, this looks very. What do you think? I was gonna say it looks very modified, because none of these are straight, but I don't know if he actually lives in an area, like, do you know what I mean? I think because of the shape and this shadow here, which would probably be, I'm thinking some kind of non-smooth wall. This actually might be the way his wall is shaped, but I don't necessarily think so, because this part here is very grainy and it happens to bulge out in the similar way, but you never know. But we've seen this guy anyway without all of that, and he still looks pretty ridiculous. So this guy's doing it, and there's a certain level of work that goes into it, and I would say there's a certain level of being impressed that we can be. When we look at this, we can just say, you've distorted your body. Like, this is, wow, I never thought a human being could look like this. You know what I mean? So we can be impressed in that sense. Doesn't necessarily have to be good impressed, but we can be impressed in sort of almost a grotesque or just like a voyeuristic sense. Like, wow, I never thought I would see a human being shaped like this, Good job, dude. His wrist is kind of skinny. Yes, it should be. That helps you with those proportions. So if you have a thin wrist, actually I have a very tiny wrist. Let me see. I have to open this to see if we can show it the right. It's hard to kind of show. Can we? I'm trying to move it out of my sight here, but I have all these like extra layers. My wrists are incredibly tiny, and that's one of the saving graces that I have, because I'm working against estrogen and stuff when it comes to adding on muscle, in a large size. So one of the benefits is that I do have small joints, so proportionally it looks bigger. So that's actually a benefit in weightlifting. Let's see. Yeah, but it's skinny in the same way on both arms. Right. But you also, again, the fact that his wrists are very thin, especially if he started lifting or if he started to inject synthol here, it would make his forearms look that much more extremely proportioned, just because he has these tiny wrists. So that would actually benefit. This, though, of course, he needs to even it out a bit, in my opinion. Do muscles like that have a lot of strength? They sure don't. So these are literally just injections of a type of oil. That's it. It's a type of oil that's injected. So they don't actually aid to your strength at all. They're just going to increase your size. And again, the idea is, originally the idea was, where did that bodybuilder go? To like even out your physique in like tiny amounts, to like, oh, okay, well, we need an extra, inch here in this way, and you're gonna even it out so that way your maybe your delts look even. Do you know what I mean? So when you do the front double bicep, it looks even, as opposed to, well, one of these looks flatter than the other and it doesn't look very good. So that's the whole point. These guys are taking it to that extreme, where they're putting it in there instead of muscle. So that's the thing to remember with that. So they're not strong. I do think it would be sold to people who purely want the aesthetic. So for me, at least for some people, and at least with synth, I'll be marketed to make them more attractive. Not attractive, remember, the aesthetic. You want, like, a good example would be, this is an aesthetic called Lolita Fashion. Probably have seen it somewhere on the internet somewhere. Okay. This is quite repulsive to adult men overall. It looks very childlike. It looks very, like, too cute. It looks like a lot to deal with as well. You can imagine, well, if that was my girlfriend, how long is it going to take for us to get ready to go out? Do you want to be seen with someone who basically looks almost like a cartoon character? This and that's actually part of the appeal for some of these women. They don't want that type of attention. So it's for the aesthetic, but it is not for attracting a mate. And that's what we have to remember. We are beyond that, I would say, for sure. Beyond this concept that everything I do to my outer body is for the purpose of reproduction, to attract a mate and then reproduce. We're definitely past that. So we have to remember that, yes, it can be for an aesthetic, but it is not because it's attractive, like sexually attractive. That's what we have to remember. So yeah, I agree. It attracts them, but it is not attractive, if that makes sense. I meant the guy with the beard. Let's see. His wrist is kind of skinny. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I know you were talking about him, but I was using this guy as an example because I thought his forearm position was a little bit better. But yeah, he should also definitely put this in there. But you can see he's quite lean otherwise. You can see his veins really well. Like, if he would have just done lifting, he's got a good, like, It's kind of hard to judge maybe his skeletal structure and stuff, but he could have done pretty well with it. But for guys, the muscular aesthetic is kind of tied to attractiveness. Not to generalize, but I still think it's true specifically around muscles. I think that you would have to be delusional. Not you, but a person. These guys on the screen. You would have to be delusional to think you are attracting a mate. That's what I would say. I don't think they are doing it for that reason. Another example is this guy. So he has a similar concept. Not this guy. Dang it. Justin. This guy. Okay. This guy is just totally plastic surgery. Okay. So these are implants, including his abs. They're implants. If you were to take everything out, he's just a very skinny looking guy. So these are all implants. Some of them he apparently designed himself. He doesn't do it to look attractive. So even though it has to do with muscle, he's not doing it to look attractive. He's doing it because I've seen some documentaries with him. For him, he is using his body as a sculpture just to see if he can get it to look a certain way. He says that he's designed styles or whatever for a lot of the implants that he's received. So he'll actually design them on paper and then try to get someone to create something like that for him. So he's sculpting his body. I guess he was an art kid. He just really likes to draw, and he wanted to use his body as a living sculpture. This is not something he does because he wants to look attractive. He's doing it because for him, when he was growing up, he had this idea of basically Ken, Barbie and Ken, and this idea of this totally plastic, fabulous life. He grew up very poor, and he wanted to live this fantasy, basically. So he was able to turn his fantasy into reality, which, hey, good for him. But it's not about attracting a mate. There are people that do find him attractive because it's not, too extreme, I would say. And there's also people that are into this, but I would say his fans are more fans of the fact that he is extreme. Again, he might not look as extreme as the synthol guys, but you have to remember this is his actual body. All of this here is implants. So it's kind of interesting. Hello, Summer. I would say that's her argument, similar to makeup, perhaps. I do it for myself for the art. Right. That's, when I'm having an eczema outbreak, I've done these, half makeup looks that are ridiculous, and then I go outside. I'm not doing it because I think people are going to find it attractive. I do it because, to me, that's just, that's fun. That's just what I wanted to do that day. That's what I think we have to remember. I think it's easy to want to say that people are doing this because they think it's attractive, and golly gosh darn, they're just so stupid. They don't know any better, and they genuinely just think this is attractive, and oh gosh, they're so dumb, and I know better. But we do have to remember these people are in the extreme minority. These are not people that have a typical thought process in that sense. Some of these people are, may not even be interested in any type of romantic relationship. They're just doing it because that's what they want to do with their body. What about the chola look or garu in Japan? I thought they do it to be attractive somewhat. Now, I wouldn't say that chola or garu is extreme. But I would say something like ganguro is extreme. And part of that, part of the ganguro idea is to go against this sexist idea in Japan that women should be quiet, submissive, muted in every way. And so to wear these really bold colors and have this really tan skin and all of this stuff goes against that. I think that it can attract friends. So if you're walking around in Harajuku, for example, wearing this, and somebody who understands what this subculture is might walk up to you and strike up a conversation, and now you became friends, I think that's kind of what it does. It doesn't, like, you don't look at it and say, oh yes, this is, no, she didn't look at the mirror and say, aha, if I go out today, I'm definitely gonna find my future husband. That's not what this is about. You know what I mean? This is not, this is not about that. Same with them. They're not going out thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing this so I can, attract a mate. They're hanging out with their friends, having a good time, looking as loud as they are audibly loud. Do you understand what I mean by that? It could do with it, say attractive, maybe just not to other people, but to yourself. Not familiar for those styles. Oh yeah, so the Chola style is like this. Okay. This is a style that happened a lot, like in the southwestern United States, with the Mexican people that were either Mexican genetics that lived in that area and that just had been living there since, the beginning of time, or people that are immigrants. This, of course, is also like heavily associated with, unfortunately, with gang stuff. But it doesn't have to be. It's just there was that association with it definitely in the 80s and 90s. This is, its own fashion now. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if we look at Chola fashion. But, is this someone that when they put these clothes on, they said, oh yeah, I look conventionally sexually attractive? No. This is someone that, hey, I look tough, maybe I can, if they're even thinking about attracting someone, maybe someone's gonna like my tough look, but it's not to be like conventionally attractive. That's not what it's about. Fashion is a lot more than just looking good to, the gender of your choice, you know what I mean? And then what was it, Garu? Is it Garu or Gyaru? Let me see. I think you were talking about Gyaru fashion, Pal. So this is, again, you can look at it like, oh, maybe this isn't super, I'm trying to find one that isn't super extreme. Something like this is maybe a softer kind of look. But, who comes out of the house with these super long fingernails and is like, oh yes, all the men are going to be flocking to me. This is definitely not a conventionally attractive look for a woman in Japan. Do you know what I mean? Something like this might be cute, but in Japan and also in Korea, there's an appreciation for cuteness that doesn't have a sexual overtone. There are some people that, will combine them, but there is an appreciation for cuteness that is different from somebody you would want to be partnered with. So it's a little different in that sense. Let's see. I don't know why when I checked your videos there's not a ton going on. Did you delete some stuff? Yeah, I had to. It was, I had like 300 some odd videos and we had to relaunch the channel, unfortunately. You should be in charge of your body, so if he digs it, all power to him. Right. If he got all the plastic surgery and that's how he looks in the mirror and he says, I feel so good about how I look. Great. There's so many, I think we have to kind of remember that there's so many bad things going on in the world. How can we look at that guy and say, well, I don't find it attractive, therefore he's wasted his money, he's gross, he's confused, he's this, that, and the other thing. He's happy. Can't we be happy for him because he's happy? Even those people with the synthol injections, I personally think it looks ridiculous. Who cares? He's happy. He's happy enough to keep doing it. He's not hurting anybody. Good for them, God, I mean, why does it have to be about what I like to look at? You know what I mean? Why can't we just be happy for that person? because they're happy, you know. So that's the thing I don't understand about developing such harsh judgments about these strangers. They're not hurting you. They're living their life and they're happy. You know, why should we be so upset? Um let's see, a bit like Punk. Punk's are the one with the starch Mohicans and the safety pin piercings. Right. The idea was to be against the culture. It was a message that they were sending. It wasn't like, oh, let me be attractive in this way. It's a message they're sending to maybe attract people that have a similar thought process, but not necessarily for anything romantic. Another interesting example would be the Mahdi modification tribal Africa. I'm not sure where that goes in all of this. It is or was considered attractive in those societies, but not necessarily by choice. Right. So that, I would say, would fall into conventional attractiveness. By that, I mean conventional attractiveness per culture, right? So again, something like this might be, well, not that. Maybe this kind of look might be considered more conventionally attractive in Western countries than it is in Japan, but it's definitely like more of an extreme look in Japan. So we have to remember the cultural context of that. So the body modifications in those other cultures that you're talking about are to become like attractive in that sense, or in that culture. So they would not be along the same lines, because nobody does the synthol injections or these extreme plastic surgery things in order to be attractive. Yeah. Thanks. What was it before? My brain has forgotten. I don't think anybody answered that yet. Orchid. So Orchid, it was about like religious stuff, atheist stuff, some stuff about military and stuff about Korea. But it has been relaunched as sort of a student-friendly kind of channel in a more class, like lesson sort of setup. One, because a student found it. There was nothing bad on my channel before, but perhaps just some stuff that, you know, if a parent had found it, they maybe wouldn't want to associate that with a teacher. And then another thing was, what was it? Because of things like what's going on with the pandemic and stuff, there are people that just kind of want more of that interaction. So I thought that might be a different way to do it. I also, you know, enjoyed the Q&A aspect of the channel, but I felt like I was getting a lot of the same questions. And some people would ask follow-up questions on the like in the comments that were really good, but it was like, well, does this warrant a separate video? Is this something we can just talk about? So that way people can comment in the live stream, and then we can talk about it as it comes up. So I thought it would just be a little bit more interactive and fun. Let's see. What about attraction to dwarfism and androplasia? Is this sincere or a fetish? I think it depends on the person, for sure. It would depend on the person. There are some people that are open to dating anyone of any size. Those people, I would say it's a genuine attraction, but there are some people that do have a fetish specifically. Let's see. Doesn't sound like anything I would be interested in. The live stream came on my feed. I wonder why, and I'm still wondering. Yeah, it's interesting, Orchid, that you say that. I have you know, like I said, it could have been the atheist or religious stuff that you were here for, but there were some people that were subscribed to my channel, and honestly, they never interacted. So I think that it was maybe an accidental subscription. Yeah, that could have been. Thanks for the channel change. It would have been the atheism. Oh, okay. So that's, yeah. We're still talking about that. We started, but we're doing it again in a different way. I think there's a lot of really awesome resources out there for people that have specific questions about atheism and stuff. I thought it might be more fun to do like a study. So we started studying the Book of Enoch. So that's what we started with already, yeah. Let's see, I would put myself in the ACE spectrum, dealing with BDD and an ED. Some might think I'm motivated by appearances when the reality is much more complicated. Yes, Summer. So definitely with that situation, you know, it's not that it has to do with appearance, but it doesn't have to do with attraction. And I think that's where people kind of misunderstand. if somebody wants their own body to look a certain way, that's their reason for it. It has, it's much more complex than just, oh, you think that's going to get you a boyfriend, or oh, you think that's going to get you a girlfriend. And it does, there's so many different reasons, for it, for sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's okay to mention that the channel was atheist. I mean, there's a lot of atheist stuff on it. That is totally fine. The only thing that just wasn't, stuff that wasn't parent friendly on it, would have to do with certain certain words. Like I had some swear words in there that, again, I don't see a problem with it, but some parents do. I definitely don't swear at work when I'm talking to my students and stuff. So, if a parent saw something like that, not the best. Or we're doing like alcohol tastings and stuff, and laughing about that with my friend and making these, jokes and stuff. Maybe, parents might not like that, even though the drinking culture in Korea is very different from Western drinking culture. I appreciate that you guys want to respect my privacy, and yeah, feel free to let me answer, for myself, for sure. But yeah, it's those are the things that I kind of wanted to clean up for that. I cannot make curses anymore now. I may spontaneously combust. I know, exactly. You got to come up with some different alternatives, that's very funky, or well, I can say damn a lot because we always talk about dams in, what's it called, geography class. So that's fun too. All right, so we have to be safe for work with our discussions now. Right. It's not that we particularly weren't. It's just I know some of us, not just you guys, but myself included, we were freely saying things that, maybe wouldn't be minor or safe for work. You know what I mean? How's the drinking culture different, just out of curiosity? Oh, gosh. It's rampant. I would say it's like the only culturally acceptable way for you to show negative emotions or true emotions. It's encouraged when you go out, to go out with your boss or your managers and to drink with them. To be out until midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., just drinking with your coworkers and your boss, and then having to go to work, a few hours later. There's all of these little hangover prevention drinks. You can just find them anywhere. There's hangover prevention little, they're not pills, they're these little traditional medicine type pills. So they're round. I don't know if you've ever taken them, you know what I'm talking about. They're not pill shaped, they're spherical. And then they don't have any real coating around them. It's just this pressed medicine. Yeah, all of that is, and you can drink in public as well. I could just go get some alcohol and go sit in a park and just drink. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very different kind of culture. Even when you adjust for the difference in alcohol content, the average American adult per person per week, on average, drinks 3 shots of liquor. The average Russian is 6 shots of liquor. The average Korean is 14 shots of liquor. So it's a thing. It's to the point where I think it's been changing now, but there was an incident where, again, I don't want to talk about some negative stuff or sad stuff. So there was an incident, a serious driving incident, and the driver only got a very small prison sentence because, they were drunk. They didn't know what they were doing. If you get violent with police officers who are trying to, calm you down while you're drunk, well, it's because they're drunk and they don't know what they're doing. So it's very different. Things are changing, for sure. They're changing, but yeah, it's a totally different concept over here, for sure. I quit drinking 1 year sober. Congratulations. Yeah, I also quit. So it's been catch up to me. I'm at 7 years. Well, good. I think, it's the good idea is for every day to be your new high score. So that's good. What happened to the cute goats? No, we looked at the goats, Ratsa. We looked at them. I think they're cool. I don't know about cute, but we looked at the Damascus goat, we looked at the Jacob sheep. Now you were freely saying things. YouTube censored us like crazy. That's true. So Banalest had sent something that got hidden. That's okay. I can still read it. I'll come back another time. Right now I think I have to go and drink due to having the worst 12 months of my life. Personally, worst 3 days of my life to top it all up. I'm very sorry to hear that, Orchid. If you want a place to just come chat, you can chat about different stuff. I'm going to send you the link to our Discord. It is on my channel and everything, but if you just want to, need a place to talk, vent, that's okay. And you can find me there if you want to just vent about something to pretty much a stranger, because I know sometimes that helps for some people. That's fine. I'm willing to listen. If you want advice, I can, if I'm able to give you advice, I can, but I don't give unsolicited advice. So if you just want me to listen, that's fine too. Yeah, no problem. I know that it's tough, and I think that it's been hard for a lot of people because you're either home alone or you're home with people that you're very familiar with, and so you can feel like perhaps I don't have an outlet to vent about something. So that's why it's so good to have the internet, I think, for sure. Anyway, go do that. Feel better. If you can, make sure to drink plenty of water so you don't get a hangover tomorrow, okay? All right. Let's see. Drinking heavily, lost the nerve feelings in my feet, pins and needles, blah, blah, blah. Very unfortunate. Crime Under the Influence about to change because the guy that was just released. Yeah, so we do want to be careful with those kind of phrases, oh pal pal. But yes, we want to, unfortunately, doing something really, really bad. Thankfully, things are changing. That prison sentence was very short. Let's go ahead and look at the Markhor goats like Ratsa is wanting. I think we got a bit dark here. And again, there's a time and a place for that. I just wanted to try to keep this a bit lighthearted. See, this is what we like. That's great. I feel like if I had one of these, I would name him Mobius or something, This is great. I had is it a gunny? Yeah, he's a gunny. I had a gunnery sergeant. When he showed up to our company, he had these like heads, and they were mounted in his little office area. And I don't know, I was like, why do you have those? He's like, oh, because they're very majestic and blah. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I guess they're kind of more majestic alive, aren't they, Gunny? And he's like, well, that's neither here nor there. He didn't want to get into an argument. I didn't want to get into an argument either. It's just, I don't know. I mean, they're really big. You can kind of tell the size, and this is just one type of thing, but you can kind of tell the size here. And it's just like this giant animal that had no, if the gunny had like hunted it with a spear, broke its neck, I don't know, something like that. But you don't show your power over the animal kingdom by like, oh yeah, I had a guide who drove me around to these animals on a preserve and then I shot them. I mean, that's like saying you're a master fisherman because you pulled a lobster out of a lobster tank at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Can you imagine somebody doing that? No, it seems so ridiculous. We would never go to a place that, has our seafood ready and then say, oh yeah, I'm such a good fisherman and here I'm going to keep this as a memento of how awesome I am and I dominated nature. You don't do that because that's nuts, right? It's ridiculous. And that's kind of how I see these hunting tours as well. If you're a hunter and you hunt to eat something, great. If you're trying to protect people nearby and there's an animal that keeps coming in and like killing kids or threatening kids, fine. That makes sense. If you decide to be an extreme sports type person and you versus a bear, you know, hand to paw combat, cool. You know, but to have, you know, to go into a place where you don't even live, you don't know anything about the culture, you have somebody who owns this nature preserve and works there and just puts you in the Jeep, drives you directly to them because they were hand selected earlier in the day, gives you a rifle and says point and shoot. Just go pick an already dead one off the wall. You know what I mean? Like, already, you know, let them do it for you. You don't do anything. Just get the head, put it in your office. It's as good. Do you know what I mean? You didn't go hunt. You're not a hunter. You didn't track anything. You know, if you're going to go tracking and hunting, that's different. You know, do your thing, whatever. But this is just a bit silly, you know. Eduardo, can you maybe tell us what we're looking at? So when you guys post links, it doesn't show the links. Let's see. Other animals like mandarin ducks. Mandarin ducks are great. Blue glaucus. Okay. Let's look at that. Because I know what the mandarin duck looks like, but for those of you that are not familiar, mandarin duck. So they look like this. They're super just amazing. And then we want this duck. Yeah, it's not a duck. But it's super cool, and they look very weird when they're out of water. Let's see. That one with the blue background looks like it has a Viking name. Rancor, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if he ate the meat, that's the thing. I don't think he ate the meat. Usually with those, so the reason that it's not so cut and dry, the criticism that I have is for the person like my Gunny. By the way, my Gunny, in so many other ways, totally awesome dude. I'm not saying that he was a bad guy. I'm just saying that I didn't understand this thought process about this one thing he had. You know, for you to go and then kill this animal after it's like hand chosen for you, that, I mean, if you're gonna go ahead and say I just liked the head and I don't know, I felt like taking the life of a large animal, say so. Do you know what I mean? But don't be like, oh, because I wanted to dominate nature and be like a hunter. You know, I love hunting. You don't love hunting. You like shooting. It's not the same. Go to a target. You know what I mean? That's not hunting, right? But in doing so, the money that he paid goes to help the nature preserve. The animal that was killed, the meat goes to like the local families. You know, so it's a very gray kind of area. The other problem too is that not everyone is legit. So some of these are run by the government. The animals are tracked. They make sure that the animals are not endangered. They're not, the meat is going to families that need it, blah, blah, blah. But then there's these other people that are like quasi-poachers, that they set all this stuff up for you, but they're not connected to any government thing. So that's, you know, when the exploitation stuff happens. It's disgusting that people pose after killing animals like a polar bear, lions, and those typically not for food. Yeah, it's, you know, what are you doing, you know? Let's do gunnery sergeant, but it doesn't seem to be a job about gunnery. Yes, that's true. A gunnery sergeant is, I think in the Army it's a sergeant first class, but not a first sergeant. I don't know. It's so your enlisted ranks, it's the 7th rank on the enlisted rank, so the 7th one up, out of 8, but technically 9. Let's see. There's a dish here in a restaurant called Hunter's Chicken, which summons up images of the hardy chicken hunters. Yeah, exactly. Funny looking birds. I swear it's not creepy or weird. Okay, well, let's check that out. I mean, I don't plan on keeping this video up anyway, so we can check it out. What do we got? Oh, yes. This, I've seen this before. This meme. They are very good. Yeah, birds are weird. I love birds. They're so weird. They're so weird. Let's see. Slug, I guess it's a slug. Yeah, slugs are weird too. Um, let's see. Super cute, awesome. Glaucus looks like tiny dragons. Yes, absolutely. Very few things are black and white, that's true. Except for, Summer, I don't know if you were here, except for Polish lace chicken. Okay. These are black and white. Hello. Just fabulous. Just fabulous. Do a lot of hunting in these parts, and I've disowned friends for just hunting for trophies. It's about putting food in the freezer. Right, right. Even then, if your friends are hunting and tracking and they're putting up a deer blind and all of this other stuff, I would say that they're at least hunting as opposed to doing that, tour of Africa hunt where it's just literally, you just get into a Jeep, they've pre-selected the animal for you, they drive you over there with this tracker, you know what I mean? They hand you a rifle and they say, just point it there and pull the trigger. These are not hunting. There's some mutation, so everything is black, even the organs are black. That's very metal. That's very metal. We could talk about sloths. Let's see, penguins. That's why you never get into an argument with a zebra. Oh my gosh. How do we delete a person from existence? Let's see. I think even the organs are black. It's so weird. That would be, what is it called? Hypermelanation? Yeah. Hypermelanosis? Nope, that's not it. This is very not it. But this reminds me of something else, which is the Mongolian spot. So this is this blue birthmark that is related to Mongolian DNA. So if you've had it, usually on your back, usually near your butt, sometimes very large and sometimes not. Yeah, it's has to do with like Mongolian DNA. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I agree. I don't eat meat. My brother's bow hunting for food is definitely on the better end of the scale. Yeah, something like that for sure. I wanted to do this tarot reading and then I wanted to go like an hour ago. Let's see how long it takes and then we'll do it. Let's just do it for fun. Okay. Got my tarot cards. Never heard of it. Don't eat much meat. Never heard of which one. I hope not the Mongolian spot, because I hope you're not eating human babies. I mean, I know we're atheists and stuff, but I hope you're not eating human babies there. Bit of extreme sexual dimorphism of the triple wart sea devil. No, but I feel like there must be some joke in there, Eduardo. These are... Let's check it out. Triple wart sea devil. Oh, we were going to do that one. That's what we got. these guys. They're a lot smaller than you would think. Especially the viperfish, at least. They're like that big. Which kind of makes sense. They don't have a ton of food down there, but I don't know. It's a sea devil. Let's see. Yeah, 20 to 30 centimeters and 1 to 3 centimeters for males. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. The extreme sexual dimorphism is this guy. It's called a parasitic male. Isn't that fun? Because that's just kind of how they live. So they basically hook up and they provide semen so I didn't know these guys by name, but I have heard of this situation. So they they basically provide like a steady stream of semen as the female needs it, and then they are provided with food and protection by, it's a symbiotic relationship. I wouldn't say necessarily parasitic. Yeah, sea kittens. Look at the male. I know he's like, boop. It's an interesting time. That's definitely the sugar mama, right? That's definitely a sugar mama. I mean, I guess it makes a lot of sense in some ways, you know, but it's kind of interesting. They connect with them, break down the female, and fuse with their circular system until it's linked together. Yeah, exactly. They're just living off of her. It's it's really interesting how they do that. Like they're not like eating her food; they like receive nutrition from her. Um, I would say almost like a fetus in a way. Um, Except with some obvious differences, right? But it's yeah, it's a pretty funky setup, but it kind of makes sense. I wonder if they think about stuff, if they think about, I don't know. What do you think these sea devils think about? Clingy boyfriend, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do the year tarot spread. All right, so this is what we want, is this thing. Okay. So we're going to do, what is it, 12 cards. Cards 1 and 2 look at energies passing out of your life. Life lesson. Reverse card is a life lesson or yet to be revealed. All right, so this is how we're just going to do it. For those of you that are totally unfamiliar with tarot cards, so I'll show you exactly how to do it. I guess, it's a way to make money. If you guys want to make money, and you can make money from home this way. I've seen people charge for tarot readings. It's like, I don't know, $1, $5, something like that. Easy on PayPal, so it's an option. Just depends on how you feel. I would definitely recommend, if you're doing it for the person, say, hey, this is to help you make sense of stuff. This isn't like predicting the future and blah, blah, you know what I mean? So they don't put too much into this. Unless they ask you like serious questions like, oh, well, I'm wondering if, I should change my major or something. Whoa, hey, it's make a list of pros and cons. Don't ask a bunch of cards that, you know what I mean? But that's up to you guys. I want to know your tarot thing. I'll just throw out the term pygmy jerboa so people can go, oh, is it the little like bouncy rodent? Is it the desert rodent? Yes, he is. They're so like, that's just what I call them, the bouncy desert red. I think there's some theory about the virus DNA being a reason for placenta. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Happy New Year, Nick. Have a good time. Happy New Year, Sovereign. Called babies parasites. I mean, she's not wrong in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But yeah, if she wants to have kids, then I hope she's able to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that's even technically wrong. The only difference is you would invite the parasite in some ways, sometimes. Yeah, seriously, do tarot, absolutely. Most definitely. Summer, why don't you message me what you said, and I can even help you with these, so you can do that, because it's a really, it's interesting. And I've talked to Summer a lot. Summer, I think you're insightful, and it helps you with reading people, and if you're already good at that, it's a really good way to put that just natural, personality twist or whatever to work, and to help people with stuff. Because again, if you explain it to them that, this is here for you to help, like an external factor to help you kind of put things in perspective, as opposed to the cards know all. It can be really helpful for people, I think, because sometimes it is hard for us to get out of our thought process. Do you know what I mean? So having something that's totally random can force us to look at something in a different way. All right. Yeah, he's very tiny. Look at this he's like a ball. And then this reminded me of, and then we will get started. Pangolin walking. So the pangolin is amazing. And the way that they walk is amazing. So they walk like this on their 2 feet, balanced. I love that. It's between them and the capybara. If like I could have a interesting animal companion hanging out in my house, I don't know which one I would have, because they're both like quite docile, you know. So they just look so fun. I just love them. Look at this big old butt. It's great. All right. So we're going to do 12 cards. And let's see. So I just want to show you just like how to read it using this kind of instruction. Okay. So we're going to do cards. Let's see. I'm just going to put them down in front of me. No, I'm just going to put them in a pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Normally you would have it spread out, you know, especially if you're reading somebody in person and you know, flip the cards and whatever. You do want to make sure, so this is how I pulled the cards in this way, so when we're doing it, we're flipping them, okay? It's up to you, just whatever way you're doing it, you know, is up to you, okay? But I flip them, because that's how I would pull it off the deck. So I just flip them. All right. So cards 1 and 2 look at the energies passing out of your life and what you carry forward with you into the new year. Okay. So for these two, we have the 7 of Swords, which, make sure I'm seeing these correctly. Okay. 7 of Swords. This is not the traditional Rider-Waite deck. And the second one is the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. What do these mean? All right. So the 7 of Swords, you guys don't have to memorize all of this stuff. It is already kind of ready for you to hang out and do it here, actually on this site, Biddy Tarot. So we'll look at 7 of Swords, Biddy Tarot, okay? And what does this mean? Okay, and again, these are going to be, I should tell you guys that when we're talking about these suited cards, like Pentacles, Swords, and some other cards, these are called minor arcana. These are basically different kinds of things that are probably going to affect you in your life. The big cards that you're probably familiar with, like the Hierophant, the Priest or the Empress, the Moon, the Sun, the Tower, Death, all of those cards, those are major arcana, and those just have to do with different big things going on in your life. Big event stuff versus small event stuff. So all of these essentially are Barnum statements. As I'm reading this, you guys are going to probably be like, oh yeah, I can totally relate to something that happened to me this year that's related to betrayal, deception, getting away with something, or acting strategically. Now, you can think about it as yourself. You can think about it as somebody else. I feel like for a lot of people, especially if you're in the United States, this is the theme of the year, isn't it? And so the idea that it said here is that you're leaving this energy behind, right? And so you could even interpret this by saying, well, you know, we got rid of Trump, so we're getting rid of this betrayal, and we're having a president that, well, we don't really know what's going to happen with him, but at least he seems more scientifically minded or open or something, right? So that's how you can interpret it. Or you can interpret it something like, you know, you were not meeting your goals personally, that you were betraying yourself or cheating yourself, and a lot of people felt that way too, that they were feeling lazy this year, or that they gained a lot of weight this year even though they wanted to try to use 2020 to like get fit or something. So this is how you can read the card. There's so many ways to read it. And that's the important thing about it. So when I tell you that something in your life, blah, 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 like this, all of you can probably think of something, and it could be something about you, about a family member, or something else. So all of you can at least immediately think of something, and that's what makes it a Barnum statement. Tapirs, yes, tapirs are good, but they got that, I don't know, they're very funky. We have a large dam on the property, they'd be happy there. Yeah, that would be cool for beavers. The 7 of Pentacles, this was an inverted card, okay? Inverted just means you take the opposite meaning. So we're going to do 7 of Pentacles. Okay. Cool. So what is this? It says you're leaving this behind, right? Or something that you have to learn. So what is it? Lack of long-term vision, limited success or reward. I think that sums up 2020 perfectly, doesn't it? That's it. You know what I mean? So these are things that we're leaving behind, okay? If we had picked positive cards, it could just mean, that part of our life is done and now we're coming into something new, blah blah blah, okay? Now, I know that none of us believe in these tarot cards, and none of us believe that just because it's January 1st that somehow it's going to be different from, December 31st, right? But even just hearing that, just a little bit, doesn't that make you feel just a little bit more optimistic? Even though we know better. We all know better. But that I told you that these cards, even the cards know that things are looking up or something like that, and we can make them connect to real world things, that we can connect this to the changing of the US presidents, and we can connect this to leaving behind a lack of motivation in 2020. Doesn't that just make you feel slightly more optimistic? And that's why these cards are helpful. Even though you know better, they still feel motivating. So imagine if you don't know better, right? So that's what makes them very interesting. Both of these, by the way, were 7. So if you are interested in doing this just as a way to make up more money, if I were doing this for somebody, I would look up 7 in numerology, okay? And I would talk about, cool, that's not what we're looking for. It's the number of the spirit, okay? You could talk about this as the, religious concept of a spirit, or you can talk about it as motivation, okay? So this is like a motivation signal, or some other way that you could read that. And then if you're doing a tarot card reading, you would ask the person, so does that make sense to you, or is there any question you have about this? Tarot card readings are not like prescriptions. You do want to be interacting with the person. So you want to expect that. Remember, the more that they interact and connect things to their life, the more the reading will mean something to them. So they might come back to you, yeah. I believe tarot card only when the reading is good. Yeah, I know, right? There are some people that they'll keep pulling cards until they get something that they like. I hate politics more at this point in my life than ever before. Yeah, I think so, for sure. So we're going into card 3. It looks at my aspirations for the year ahead and what I truly want to achieve, okay? The major arcana, remember, these are the big life event cards, okay? And so this is, it's talking about all of this stuff, right? So if we're reversing the card, it talks about what we want to avoid in this life. So what do we got? We have a reversed card, and it is the 2 of Pentacles. So what does that mean? So we just go here again. 2 of Pentacles. By the way, these predate the card, like playing cards, and this playing card suits actually come up here. So, multiple priorities, time management, prioritization, overcommitted, disorganization, reprioritization, right? And so that's what it's telling us to avoid. Don't be overcommitted, disorganized, reprioritize. How can we tie it in with the rest of this? Well, let's think about it. If we're getting out of the situation where we're stuck in our houses, we're, wanting to find motivation that we don't have right now, then we might think, okay, new year, new me, new president, new whatever, new vaccines, new everything. I want to go do all this stuff that I didn't get to do. And so that could make you overcommitted. You see how that kind of ties in here. So you want to avoid that. Privyet. Privyet, Fat Philly, how are you doing? For some reason, Demon Sorrows, it hid Japanese here. 4 is the number of death, actually, 4. And also 666 in Chinese, because of how it's pronounced, it sounds similar to something like, oh, that's really cool. So, like, if you ever go to a Chinese heavy subreddit or something, and somebody is like trying to say, oh, that's really awesome, in shorthand they could just write 666. So it's kind of interesting. Overcommitted. I'm totally getting burned out at work. That is so me. Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I want you guys to make these connections. I want you to. Okay. Don't look at this and say, well, that's random. Well, it could be. I want you to make these connections. Okay. I want you to see how easy it is to make these connections. And then how you feel about it as well, after the reading. Do you feel a little more positive about this? Do you feel like, well, okay, now I know what to focus on? Again, you don't have to believe in it necessarily. Okay. Card 4 and 5. Look at what can empower you and challenge you as you work towards your aspirations. Okay, so cards 4 and card 5. The reason I laughed is card 4 is the worst card you can pull out of anything. It is the Tower. Okay. Whenever you see these tarot card readings in movies or something and someone pulls the Death card, it's like, oh, death is just the end of a cycle. So it's actually a very positive card. The Tower is the one where everything is destroyed. And in my image here, she's got this very like cheeky kind of smile, like I totally did this on purpose kind of thing. So if you want to see what the Tower is and how it's done here, the Tower. Okay. Sudden change, upheaval, chaos. Okay, revelation, awakening. If it's reversed, which it wasn't, personal transformation, fear of change, or averting disaster. Now notice, based on, no, I don't want this. Dang it. Based on the other cards that you had, you could talk about things being positive, right? Revelation, awakening. But because it's tied to this upheaval and chaos, you can talk about the revelation being uncomfortable. It's about making changes that are making you, uncomfortable. And honestly, isn't that what a lot of people do for their New Year's resolution? Is they want to make these huge, sweeping, 180-degree changes, that are positive, like an awakening or a revelation, but they're also totally changing everything in your life, very uncomfortable to get used to, and so that card really works with this. The second card we pulled is the King of Pentacles, and you can see it's just like all kinds of abundance here. So what would that show? Well, I do want to show you for those of you that don't know the cards. So we've got, wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, right? So these two cards together, what do we want to focus on? Making big changes in my life that I know I have to make even though they're uncomfortable, and that will have a good payoff. Okay? And it makes sense, right? Especially when we look at these first cards about how we had the lack of this in 2020, but now we're going to have a good time in 2021. Okay? So I'm just kind of, rushing through these a bit because my back is hurting. Cards 6 through 9 focus on key areas in your life and what you can expect in each. You don't have to stick to these areas. So think about your main priorities as we draw these cards, okay? So typical priorities will be something like work or school, health and relationships, friendships, love, whatever. So we'll pull that first, okay? 8 of Cups for, what did I say, work and school. 8 of Cups, and it's reversed. Okay. Trying one more time, indecision, aimless drifting, walking away. Does that sound like anybody's work or school situation right now? Probably most people. Okay. Next, they said what? Health. So health, we have another reversed one, which is the King of Wands, which actually is going to be kind of fun to read, but I just want to show you what it is. Okay. Impulsiveness, haste, ruthless, and high expectations. Isn't that fun to read for your health? Isn't that what everybody has starting off the year? I'm going to make 100% changes in my diet and 100% changes in my fitness and 100% changes in my self-care and blah, 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 right? So it's kind of fun with that. So that's how that would work. Read it however you like. And the next one is Temperance. Okay, so this is a major arcana. And I just want to show you again what it is so you can see it on the screen as I'm talking about it. And this one again was for our relationship stuff, which of course is what we want. Balance, moderation, patience, purpose. I'm sure all of us can think about someone, maybe ourselves, that we want to have more patience with. Someone that we have a relationship with. Maybe it's a parent, it's a friend, it's a coworker that you need more patience with. Someone that you need more patience with yourself. Or balance. Maybe you're giving too much of yourself in your friendships and you feel like you're overextending yourself. And so this year you want to pull that in and start saying no sometimes. So again, all of these are all general statements, right, that anybody can focus on. Card 10 provides a focus point for the year ahead. So this is the big picture. Card 10 is an inversion of the Empress. The Empress is another major arcana, which works very well for us because, oops, sorry. This is why I'm not your English teacher. So the major arcana, again, is going to be big ticket items in your life, which makes sense if we're, doing them as a overall year thing. Femininity, beauty, nature, nurturing, abundance. Now, femininity, this could mean literally our, traditional kind of understanding of femininity. Or this could mean the divine feminine. The divine feminine has nothing to do with gender, sex, anything like that. The divine feminine is being flexible. The divine, flexible, strength through flexibility, right? So if you want people to work together, you are flexible to get them to do something you want them to do rather than forcing them to do it. It has to do with cycles of time as opposed to start and finish kind of set schedule stuff. So if you're a person that makes too many deadlines, or you don't have enough routine in your life, this could be helping it. It could also talk about, what else about the divine feminine? Leadership through, not democracy. Leadership through listening to what other people have to say and making sure that you meet those issues that they're talking about. But this was inverted, okay? So it talks about a creative block and dependence on others, okay? And that's, of course, not the best. So you can say, well, it's not that the 2021 year means that this is going to be for you. It's just this might come up, so be aware of it. Figure out some ways around it. Let me see what you guys are saying, by the way. Let's see. Both are connected with death. Let's see. Also want to avoid death and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and so you do also have to remember with the number stuff, that I should have elaborated on that. That is one view of it. There's different views of it when we think about that stuff. Temperance wasn't me. Oh, the balance parts fits. Exactly. Let's see. Just got back. Sorry if this is off topic. It'd be cool to see Not Now. Your collection. I like to collect useless items from intellectual properties. A collection of what? Not sure about the Empress. So remember the Empress here, as I said, because it was inverted, it's just telling you in the year you might run into creative blocks. You might find yourself being dependent on others. Be aware of that. So that's how you would want to read it if you were giving a reading to someone. And also you ask them too, does this make sense to you? Or is this something you're concerned with? Well, I am changing jobs and I'm wondering if I'm going to be successful in that. Yeah, it's just letting you know this might be something to look out for this year. Connection with Shichi, sounding close to Shine. Yeah, no, it's the reason, I don't know Japanese. I just know that the 4, because it comes from Chinese, the 4 is the death number for Chinese, Korean in the Chinese counting system, and then Japanese as well. So I'm not saying that the 7 can't, it's just I know that 4 is directly related to death. I remember about 10 years ago, the girls and I were guessing cards which ones they would get. Don't they do it in the USA? Or Korea? There is... You mean for tarot cards? I'm not sure about that. I know you can see like a fortune teller in Korea if you are curious about that. I don't know how common I would say fortune telling is here. It's not uncommon. You do see some shops that are like tarot shops or these like small little places. They're not really stores. They're like these little tents that are on the sidewalk that do tarot readings. I know someone that really believes in this stuff too. I tried to explain it to her that it's about your brain making connections. You're the one making it important. The cards don't make it important, but didn't want to get that. Oh, the Empress Inverted. I would love some effing assistance by other people in real life. Right, Radza. Don't you collect some brand stuff related to Hello Kitty and some figurines? Oh yeah. I have some, but a lot of my stuff is at work because I'm at work a lot. But I have a lot of Pokemon stuff and Molong stuff. I really like Molong. And then my Hello Kitty stuff is just stuff that I have. I wouldn't say they're collectibles because I use them. Like I have a Hello Kitty toilet seat, for example. So they're just things that I have. I had a Hello Kitty cutting board that I had for years, and then there's a Hello Kitty knife, Hello Kitty vegetable peeler. So I wouldn't say they're collection stuff because I use them every day. But I do have some stuff that I collect, yeah. Let's see. Card 10. We did that one. Card 11 shows a lesson that I'm going to learn over the coming year. Okay, so card 10 was what I have to keep in mind. Card 11 is my lesson. My lesson is Ace of Swords. This is a good lesson for you guys to learn, and I will show you. Ace of Swords. Okay. Isn't this awesome? Look at that. Breakthroughs, new ideas, mental clarity, success. Yay, those are good lessons. Remember, it doesn't mean that you're going to have money success. It just means that you're going to have, you're going to make some personal revelation or be able to figure out another way to save money or something like that. So that's what it's talking about. And I think for a lot of people, that's just going to be true in 2021 because of how hopefully different it will be from 2020 in a lot of fundamental ways. Among young people in Korea, fortune telling became an entertainment. Yes, but the thing that the person was asking about specifically was to use the cards to choose like what type of person your future lover will be. In the U.S., we had this thing. Fortune teller school paper folding? This is what, I don't know what you would call it. Yeah, okay. Paper fortune teller. So you can look this up. There was actually a South Park episode about this. So you would do it this way. So you ask the person to pick a number, okay? And they'll say 3, so you go 1, 2, 3, and then you can see here there's colors on the inside. And so then you would say pick a color, and so they'd say red or something, and then you would pull up the flap and then read it. That's very common in the United States. This is really common. I think every kid probably had made one of these. My mom was really against it because it's a type of witchcraft and stuff. So when she saw us making them, she got very upset. But yeah, this is, I would say, very, very common. I remember those. Yeah, aren't they fun? The Ace of Swords is definitely not me. Well, see, this is for you to expect or hope for in the 2021 time. That's what it's for. So that's what the card means. Even something like being more positive, you know, not being so hard on yourself. That could be a type of success. Yeah. Okay, so you made them in Sweden. I never was a person who's into collecting things. I had a rock collection. That was better. Yeah, I do collect like stones and crystals and like fossils. Like I do have those, but they're at work. Because the students like to pick them up and look at them. So, all right. Last one is card 12. Highlights what to expect for the whole year. So that's what we're doing. Oh, that's great. 4 of Wands. Okay. That's a nice expectation for the year. 4 of Wands. Okay. Boosh. celebration, joy, harmony, relaxation, and homecoming. Not literally homecoming, because I think a lot of us have stayed home, right? So this is more like getting back to your comfort zone, getting back to like normalcy in some way. And all of that, of course, not only can apply generally, right? But this can also apply specifically to 2021. You can make a lot of these connections, especially with that last card, right? Our hope to get things back to normal. And the first cards that we have, we're leaving behind this like issues of, you know, government problems and people being sneaky and all of this stuff. So that's how this works. And, you know, again, you could have easily charged, you know, $5 for something like that. And what we did, 20 minutes of work, and I don't know, you want to charge more money if you can, if you would like to. Again, as long as you're not telling people, you know, to live their lives by these cards, and as long as you can let them know, like, hey, that's a question that I don't feel comfortable answering, sorry. You know, if they're asking you some serious life advice or something. You know, there's, I don't see it as unethical. It's just I think it's a type of, not therapy, maybe a type of counseling for people that might be resistant to counseling, if that makes sense. So, resistant to it or just can't afford it, you know, they can afford $5. And it's easy enough to do. You can do it at home. Obviously, you're just hanging out here, especially if you're doing it through text, you know. You can take your time and look all this stuff up, make sense of it, chat with them, that sort of thing. Now that you are, let's see, I'm so glad my parents got interreligion after I left home. Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that have been? That's no fun. What is a sparkle muffin? We can look at it now, but I'm gonna go like in the next 3 minutes because this certainly did not predict my spike in pain. That's what this did not predict. Sparkle muffin. Oh, this guy. Yeah, these are great. I didn't know that's what they were called. I like them because I've seen them in like these memes where they're like this, like, come at me, bro. Aren't these lovely? I want to see my fossils sometime. Yeah, I want to get a larger one. I don't have a lot of them, and I want to start collecting bones, but I don't really have a source for them. Someone gifted me a Himalayan salts block Thara RGB that has RGB. Yeah, there's have you guys also seen those Himalayan salt lamps? Those are really cool, I think. Yeah, I wanted to get through some of your, what is it? I'm sorry. It's like every time, I think, because you guys have been around for a while, you can tell when the migraine is coming because I can't even think of words. Midnight. I wanted to get through your guys' midnight. New Year. Midnight. Crossing over to midnight. But let's see if that happened. Let's time in New York City because I know a lot of you are Eastern time as well. Oh no, not that. 9 p.m. So we're not there. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's where we've seen it too. The peacock spider has also been in your profile picture, Demon Sorrows, absolutely. Australian Christmas spiders are kind of cool too. You know what? Can you guys go to the Discord and just post these awesome spiders? That would be cool. I think there's a pets and animals section. Let's see. Yeah, I look destroyed and it's only the 1st of January. I know. Isn't that awful? I had pretty good sleep, I thought. But yeah. I'm gonna go, I don't know, maybe walk. I can't walk around outside. It was too cold. I was gonna go walk around for a second outside because sometimes walking around helps. I don't know if that's gonna be the case, but yeah. So yeah, Summer, please message me about the tarot card thing. If you are interested in using it to make money. You know, I don't think it's unethical if people don't use it unethically. Do you know what I mean? So even as, you know, people that don't believe in spirits or anything, that's almost a placebo effect, I guess. You know, it makes sense because you make it make sense. You know, I've been trying to be more positive since like October of last year, I guess 2019. It's been working. You know, you can kind of trick your brain into doing stuff. Why not? Right? Why not? If you can, do it. You know, you don't have to lie to yourself. You don't have to make stuff up. You know what I mean? But you can utilize, you know, behavioral issues, like behavioral modification patterns and stuff, like Pavlov or Skinner, for example, and use it to you know, better yourself in a way. You know, create rituals for yourself at home, so that way when you get home, you're more relaxed instead of carrying all, you know, the weight of your frustrations from work or something. Just do that by setting up a little ritual. You know. Doesn't have to be supernatural or anything. So, anyway, but yeah, be safe, you know. Yeah, it's a new year, but it's the same stuff as, you know, last week and everything. So, please be careful. We're still having this outbreak. We're still having this new corona variation. There's like a new type of COVID that we got right now. So, you know, please do make sure to still practice all your good, you know, PPE and hand washing and, you know, stay home and stuff. You know, just, you know, draw a picture or, you know, do something nice for yourself today. Take care of yourself today, okay, guys? And every day. All right, I will see you later. I do need to rest. Yes, be bold, be curious. Yes, have a good year. I mean, I'll see you guys. So, alrighty, have fun. Again, you know, if you guys want to join the Discord, jump in, say hi. That way you guys can keep chatting with each other. If you so choose, you need someone to chat with. You guys are good people. You know, so just because I'm leaving doesn't mean you guys have to leave too. Okay. Alright, see ya. Adios. Bye-bye.